that? Who grew up that, wait, actually, let me start over. Who grew up that there's no such thing as muksa? Okay, now, afterward, who grew up that a lamp is muksa? Any type of lamp? Okay. Who grew up the lamp is a kli shel machtel yisr? Who grew up? Okay, so it seems like the Rav, it seems to me also the Arlam grew up that it's muksa. It's muksa, and it's a muksa machmas gufay. I think that's the pashtus of the minig. I think so. What about you guys on TV? What's the pashtus? Muksa machmas gufay. Most of you grew up like that, right? Gufay. Even though you're in Lakewood and the book was written in Lakewood, okay. But most people I think grew up that it's a muksa machmas gufay. Okay, what's the pshat? Okay, so Rav Moshe, we saw yesterday. Rav Moshe was like the final stop that we had in the Shiur yesterday. Was that the Maisa? Rav Moshe brought down that the reason why a fire is considered muksa, and Rav Moshe didn't seem to be miskasha with the Indian. He just says it ain't a kli. Rav Moshe says it's not a kli. What's a pshat that it's not a kli? Rav Moshe doesn't say. Rav Moshe doesn't say. Rav Moshe could have written the words "ain by mamish." He could have written a lot of things, right? No, you get this like hergish from Rav Moshe. I don't know. It's very hard to understand. What does it mean? It's ain a kli. Who cares? It's ain a kli, and you could have touched the candle, which is holding that. It's okay. I don't know. Anybody know pshat Rav Moshe? I see that a lot of the svarim they like to put all of them together. That Shlomo Zalman said it's ain by mamish, and it's fire you can't touch, and where Rav Moshe says ain a kli, he writes those words. It's ain a kli. It's lot bar tilto. It's not a kli. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Rav Moshe is like I said before. It's itachin, when you learned the Gemara, there was something so pashut over here, why a fire is not a kli. It was the most pashut thing in the world. Nobody ever had to mention it. Why fire is muksa. And nobody even had to mention it. Maybe that's the simplicity that Rav Moshe is going with over here. That, it's everything else is, face shells and dirt and stones that weren't mukhan. So they're all not a keli, and things that were set aside and things that were miyuchid, they are a keli. Maybe you have something which is like mufka. Maybe something is mufka. A food is also to a certain extent mufka, and Chazal just weren't geyser on food. I don't know. Maybe a fire is something that it's not tangible, it's not movable. I don't know. You can say a lot of things. I must tell you, I don't know. But Rav Moshe says it's ain't a kli. Listen, when you read Rav Moshe, you get the cheshik with like Rav Moshe himself to say that a lamp is a kli. Because whatever you understand why a fire is not a kli, or you don't understand like myself, but I think everybody here feels that like this thing is a kli, it's fashioned into a kli, it's something to manufacture. So you would get the hergish that it is a kli. Come on, you understand that a fan is a kli and whatever. I think that it would be like that. It stems in Rav Moshe, it does stem. Going to Rav Moshe writes in the few tshuvas, he seems to say that at least it's a kli shel machtel yisr, maybe even better. Right? Maybe it'll be a kli shel machtel heter, and that's really what we saw yesterday. It's all going with this hashkafa, this attitude that a fire is not a kli, and if you can accept that's not muksa because the hate, that's muksa then because hate. But then anything that is a kli, of course, it's not going to be muksa. Therefore, Rav Moshe it seems to say that a lamp is not muksa. Exactly what to do with Rav Moshe. Rav Moshe then afterwards said, but you should be geyser. And you see the strength of Rav Moshe's gzeira, because like I said, it seems to be that is the widespread minig. The noyig is that a lamp is muksa. And the biggest raya in the world that a lamp is muksa is that they came out with the Shabbos lamp. And I don't mean the second one. I mean that for 20 years, they had that first Shabbos lamp that everybody came out with, which was, you moved the piece, which wasn't attached to the fire. And nobody was screaming in those days, what are they doing? Wasting time, wasting energy, wasting money, wasting this. Okay, wasting money, they probably did complain. But nobody screamed, what are they doing? It's so ridiculous. They came out with the Shabbos toothbrush. Nobody said that because there's a whole shayla about a toothbrush on Shabbos and whatever. So here too, they came out with this lamp, you turn around the piece, it doesn't touch the fire. And Shalom al Yisrael, what was that? Because the minig Yisrael was to say, I guess, not like Rav Moshe, Dahainu, like Rav Moshe. Like if you're going with Rav Moshe, it's like Rav Moshe's gzeiro. Aseh lechlufe, that was what went on for all those years. What's going to be with fluorescent, lefi that's far and lead and etc. Okay, the fear of Moshe's malach. I'll take the other malachim today. The fear of Moshe's malach. Dafn sagen that also aseh lechlufe, and that's where the minig became. Somebody asks me, should he bedafka be moving around and be misyaches to a lamp like he's misyaches to a fan and to other kli shel machtel yisr? I would feel that that's wrong. I think that's wrong because it's not against the minig. It's dvarim shenagu by yisr. It seems to be that slowly it's going to change this minig, and who knows what will happen the next time I give shiur? It won't be a minig at all anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's the fault of the art school book. I don't know. Maybe. Right? But upon him, at this point, I still think it's the prevalent minig not to move it. Lefi Reb Moshe, we'll see how the sheet is in a moment. Even Lefi Reb Moshe, I think in America also, it's the prevalent minig not to move it, not the Tzarek Gufa, not the Tzarek Makoimai, and even fluorescent and even lead. Lefi that, the Shabbos lamp that has the little, slider, little sliding thing, right? So then Lefi that, that's no good. That's no good. It's against the Asir L'Chlufe. Sorry? Come again? Yeah, so it's hard to say. If I was in charge of making the Asir L'Chlufes, I would say, come on, today, what's the makom even to make an Asir L'Chlufe? You're going to achlufe it for what? For an incandescent lamp, and then what? There to a fire. Okay, Maisa, you have to remember also, sorry? Sorry? Okay, the whole Asir L'Chlufe is Reb Moshe Einfeld. You can't, it's not like a Takana de Rabba, not leaning a Megillah on Shabbat. It's Takana de Reb Moshe. So it's hard to be Mesiaches to it the way you be Mesiaches to it like Chazal. It's like Takan. Okay, I don't know. I just know that I think most people that grew up that a lamp is muksa, they grew up also that a fluorescent is muksa and that a lead is muksa. I don't think they differentiate. Sorry? Oh, okay, so then I wasn't asking you. No, I was asking those that knew the difference. What? I asked my kids. Are lamps muksa? I asked my kids. One of my kids called today. So I asked him, is a lamp muksa on Shabbos? So he told me he has a raya. What's the raya? So he said the raya is, what do you need the Shabbos lamp for? Okay, and inside the Shabbos lamp, what's in there? Fluorescent, right? Or lead, I don't even know. Right, but it's definitely not incandescent. So okay, it's it's a remez l'davar by bookie. From my house, I don't know if you could shpar against a minig Yisrael, but this is later again. Let's see how the sheet is, anyways. But that's the fear of Moshe. That's what comes out next. Adkan yesterday's shiur. Next, the Chazanish. He said, "What's the issue?" Now is where it gets complicated. Okay, I don't mean complicated in that nature. I mean like the complications. Right. Next. The Chazanish, he says the problem is some type of noilad. Let's be mesiaches to the problem of noilad, because noilad was the one taina that really, I didn't find such good answers against the Chazanish. In other words, to say that it's a place that you don't move it, it's hard to understand the Chazanish, because you do move it, and there's no shamicha, but people will move it. I don't know. And then if you make it tonight, you're going to move it, so then that shouldn't be muksa. The other halachim that we saw in the Chazanish, that you use it b'mkoimai, whatever, that's difficult. But the Chazanish said another time that it's noilad. They asked on the Chazanish, noilad? Then noilad is a problem on Yontif, and that we saw is not such a time, no? There's different types of noilad. The noilad from fire to fire. About a brand new fire is a noilad, but obviously that noilad is not a problem. So that doesn't bother me so much. So remember, the Chazanish seems to learn that what's the issue on Shabbos of a fire? The issue is that it's a davar hamischalef. It's a davar that changes, and the thing that was here a second ago is not the thing here now, and whatever. It's a davar hamischalef. Okay, and that's why it's noilad. Can anybody fight with the story of the Chazanish? He knows. I don't know if the Chazanish said it. And again, we're trying to figure out what was pashit to Chazal, what was so pashit to Chazal that they didn't even need to tell us why the fire is muksa. Because the fire here is not the fire that was a second ago. It's all the same type of ideas with Moshe. We don't have a real tfisa on this fire and whatever. Okay. Lefi this, what would you say about an incandescent bulb? What would you say about a gas and this and that and whatever? So I'll go extreme for a minute. Comes again, Reb Nissen. I saw this today. Reb Nissen in the third volume in the 61st page, I think I wrote it. In the, I didn't write it down, probably did. 61. In the 61st page, Reb Nissen says, so every single electrical appliance is a muksa machmas gufay. It's fire. Nothing to do with shitas chazanish and b'nei brak about electricity being the rice, whatever. No, he's telling you something that makes sense. What's the whole idea? It's a noilad. The thing that was here a second ago is not the thing that's here now. And electricity is any different. What's the whole juice and the whole koyach what's inside this item? The electricity from a second ago is not the electricity which is here now. It's a whole different chefza. And they asked him, what about a watch? So you can't wear a watch. His cousin holds that taka like that. You can't wear a watch, but during the week, right? So what's the pshat of watch? A watch also is in this chalif. So he said, no, because they're the batteries here, the chefza's here. Mashenkein, when you have a fan or whatever, the electricity that was here now is not the same electricity that was here a second ago. It's like a whole different, it's a whole different current every single second, right? I think they say it's like a billion, what? No, a battery, the way we're mesiaches to it is that the battery's here, So therefore, the chefza, which is causing that koyach, is here, right? Yeah, so I'm not, Rabbi said, today, give me patience, because it's not things that we understand. So we just have to explain what the great Gedolim are saying, So Mamela, that's what he says. It goes that far. He says, if you want to say that a fire is a noilad, like the Chazan each and every electrical appliance, and you know what? That's our Nissen Paskins. He goes, everything that you heard from me in the last 78 Shiur, batal mavutal, because every time we spoke about an electric appliance, I hope not everything, right? But every electrical appliance that we call the Kli Shemachal Yisr just turned into a Muksa Machmas Kufa, into a noilad. Chiddush. It's a chiddush. What? David's fan is okay because why? Because it's in the battery and whatever. Flashlight, the fetus will be okay. Yeah. Today there's a lot of electrical things like that. Oh, very good. That's good. We need it for tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah. We'll see in a minute. I'm saying for the fever medicine, even at least, was what to talk about, but it won't be goofy. Right? So okay, I don't know. I don't understand the Chazon Ish so much, right? And have a little hitzif of love, Bishlam, I can understand the fire. That fire which is here is not the same fire. I can understand, and that's the chefts that we're dining on, is the fire. Here we're not dining on the electricity. The electricity is the juice and the blood the bloodstream that runs through this item. But that's not the chefts of the item. The fever Moshe, it's pasha, it's a kli. Okay, even without Rav Moshe. If you're going with the idea of noilad, maybe when the whole entire chefza you're dining on is a noilad, but when you're dining that you have a fan over here, and the electricity is the new electricity. Lemazugin, I'm not a physicist, but lemazugin, that it's like a new electricity here. I don't know why, but who cares? You still have a fan over here, so why should that? I don't know. Lay down. If anything, I would say that the electricity is bottled to the item. The ikar is the item, and the fan is the ikar. And it's being mashamish the fan, it's true, but I don't know if it's, again, I feel very, very humbled today. I don't know what to tell you. I don't fully understand a lot of the svars over here, but I could hear someone saying, now the Maisa, all the Gedolei Yisrael took on that like this. I know even the Gedolei Yisrael that were going in the Chazon Ish's Shita, so Shlomo Zalman, for example, he wanted to go so far as to say, in that famous tshuva, which we'll talk about soon in a moment, in Mechel Shlomo Siman Yadalit, he says, the Chazon Ish is gewaldig, it'll come out that the Chazon Ish, a lamp is a kli. Because if he's going to go that the whole problem is noilad, so he says incandescent is a red hot coil, whatever you want to call it. So the chefza is the coil. And he seems to understand that the red hotness, the redness, I don't know what you want to call it, that the current, which is continuous, that won't be called the noilad. I must say, I don't 100% understand Rosh Hashanah again. I'm excusing myself. Hopefully I won't have to again. But, Rosh Hashanah says that the red coil is here. The coil is here. The hotness of the coil is continuous. It's here. I guess. What does he mean? It's not a new heat. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I'm not sure what they mean. What? But the redness. What's the redness of it? I don't know what it is. I guess the redness of the mela of the ikar, which is the piece of metal, and the beside, I don't know. What? Sorry. Understand, but that heat itself, each bit of that heat, what is that? I don't know what it is. What? It's like electricity, okay? Akapanim, Rav Shlomo Zalman says, "B'das the Chazon Ish," that it won't be noilad. It won't be noilad. I'm not a physicist. I won't. I'm not saying you guys are pretending, but I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not saying you're pretending. I'm saying I would have to pretend. Right? But I don't know what's going on. I know one thing that Rabbi say. A bit Rachmanis there. I'm not feeling when the kids are, I don't know. Rav Shlomo Zalman says it's not noilad even on an incandescent bulb. Okay, I was thinking, this idea of the Chazon Ish, what is the gas that's in a fluorescent? Come, let me have my physicists over here. Come, what's the gas? The polyfluora, chlorine, and whatever. What is it? What? Is it a noilad? It's the same. They say it's like a powder, some type of like a deodorant in there. Come on. Where are my physicists? Look, no, come. Shivish a physicist. Come on. What? Look, it's like when the Olam learns, these 12-year-old Bachim learning Ksuva stuff test, and everybody becomes a Baki. The poor Maggid Shiur is trying to give Shiur, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? This is Elbazach, right? Come, physicists, what's going on in a dust? No, in a fluorescent. I see in there, there's a lot of dead flies. They all died from the powder and from the gas. Oh, here we go. No, now I have a zoologist, Rabbi Khan. Be careful. You're going to be a veterinarian in a minute. I verstehe. They died from what? They died from wearing the mask. No, what? No, come on. Tachlis, does anybody know what's going on inside there? I don't know. If you ask Kallus, right? You want to help me, Mr. Strom? What? I know there's a gas and there's a powder. I could do the same thing as you, right? Protons, croutons. Oh, here we go. When the current is going in the micro and the waves and the whatever. Come on, Rabbi Strom, you didn't think I would do that to you. You knew I would do that to you. Come on. Come on. But you made the face, you know. It reminds me of the story. Rabbi Shimon Schwab came to get from the altar, a little money before he went on Ben Zmanim. They used to give out loans. So Shimon Schwab got a loan from the altar. So he said, "Oy, shkoyach, you don't know how much this helps me." So the altar said to him, "Shiur Ribbis, you can't say thank you." The next year he came back to the altar to get money again, get a loan again, right? Before Ben Zmanim. So he took the money. Yeah, put it in his pocket, started walking out. The altar said, "What's going on? If you thank you, with the menschlichkeit, with it, So he said to him, "Rebbe, what can I do? You told me that." He said, "Yeah, but it has to say it on your face." That's a pashut in halacha. I'm not so sure. Maybe it's also this. It has to say it on your face. Okay. So tachlis, if you ask for Moshe a fluorescent light, so then the way I learned before, it's a kli. It's not a kli. They house this gas and this powder and these protons and these and makeup, I don't know, whatever's in there. Right? They housed it all this ketchup and zachan inside a kli, and they made it into a kli. So go to Moshe, it's a kli. I don't know, right? And a lead is a kavachan. What's a lead? I'll admit, I don't know. What's a lead? What is it? Oh, now you're afraid of me, right? A lead is not a gas, I think, right? You know what a lead is? I know what a lead is. A lead is a chemical reaction. Ooh, that was impressive, Kallus. Dr. Kallus says that a lead is a chemical reaction. You know what I was thinking? Wait, you know what I was thinking? It's like I was told that a lead is I was told by an Israeli who was putting up the lead light. We don't know if he knows more than just how to put up the light, right? And charge me and tell me the lead is going to last forever and a week later not. But anyways, the lead light, he told me, is a bunch of chain reactions and what's it called? Chemical reactions. I don't know. It sounds like a noilet to me. It sounds like a bunch of noiletlach to me. I don't know. But according to Moshe, it's a kli. God, according to the Chazon Ish, I don't know. I was thinking that according to the Chazon Ish, ironically, that a fluorescent and a dust and a lead might be much more noiledik than a what's it called, an incandescent. Because an incandescent is just a piece of metal, and the metal has a constant heat source that whatever, at Kami, you're not misyachlis to the heat source because whatever reason the Gedolim aren't going with Rav Nissen. But here it's like a constant, like noiled, I don't know what. Certainly the lead sounded like, I'll admit the fluorescent, I don't know so much, but the lead. What? He told me you could trust me. So, okay. It seems like it is. What? Just give him. I'm sorry, Moshe. We talked about, so that'll answer. What? I don't think Rav Moshe cared about the whole noilad issue because I think that Rav Moshe held that it's not noilad because it was muchan from before Shabbos for this. It was oimid. You can't say a muchan, on something which is oimid to be happening, right? That's what I understand. But anyways, like you're saying, Rabbi Stender, they fashioned it into a kli called tuf. You know what I mean? Then everything is noitlad. I don't know. The Rebbeinu Shalom is recreating the world every single second. I don't know. There's no such thing as noitlad when you have a chefs and a kli and a zach. But again, you're not going to say Alchem Rabbi on something that's oimid and happening, and you set it aside mamish. You made it into a kli. It's made it into a kli mamish. Made into a kli. It's not a schnitzel having a baby. It's a kli. It's a kli. So it does. Now, by say, let me again. No, what's what? So I don't know. With the Chazon Ish, let's leave it. It comes out ironic that the Chazon Ish, maybe a lead light would be a problem. And I saw one sefer that does all these like scientific things and whatever. But I don't know. But Akapanim, it sounds like even he would agree that maybe a lead would be worse than incandescent. Because what we're explaining, it makes a little bit of sense. Okay, fine. Let's go weiter. So now, Rav Shlomo Zalman, this is where the fun starts. Okay, Rav Shlomo Zalman. The Minchas Yitzchak has a tzad in the Chazon Ish, not like I'm saying. He has a tzad to say an incandescent bulb would also be noilad. And I don't know, and maybe he does. I don't know. There's the coil there's the coil that's red hot, and it's every second he learns it's like a flame, and it's rekindling and whatever. I don't know. Okay. But let's stay anyways away, because the Chazon Ish, it's not clear. We're going to go with Moshe and Shlomo Zalman. That was clear. And so Shlomo Zalman has many tshuvas. So let's see. Let's go one by one. In Minchas Shlomo Yud Daled, and I saw in the Shulchan Shlomo Reish Ayin Tes Daled, he says, L'chayra, a light, isn't mischalif, like I just told you. He says, what could be the issue? Noilet. He says, not mischalif. He says, and I, Shlomo Zalman, hold, it's ain by mamish is the problem of a fire, whatever that means. That's not what Rabbi Moshe said there. Ain by mamish. Okay. But he says it's ain by mamish, therefore it's not a bar tiltal. It's interesting as far. It's an ain by mamish. It's something you can't typhus, you can't chapsich, you can't chap it without the help of something else. Okay, whatever. So he says, a fire, that's a fire, is ain by mamish, is a la bar tiltal. But a lamp is a bar tiltal. Now, I have to understand it. If you touch the bowl part, you're going to get a burn or whatever. I don't know if that makes it that it's a bamach. Then you take a glove, you put on the glove, and you touch the bowl. I don't know. So he says it's a yesh by mamish, and therefore it's a kli shemalachtar or laheter or leisser. This is the old fight. Heter because who cares that I have to turn it on? But the usage is ba'ifin shel mutter. Isser because in order to get it to be used, the only way to get it to use is to do isser. I don't think it's a built-in muchradik shaila, and the Vel takes on that you should be machmir. Or Moshe goes back and forth on that shaila. So let's at worst, what do we need anyways? We need Sarah Kufa Makoima generally, okay? So generally, if you get the heter on Sarah Kufa Makoima, dayenu, okay? Dayenu. So Rosh Zalman says, therefore it's mutter. Then Rosh Zalman says, if this in the same neighborhood over there, Minchas Shlomo, whatever, he says they have a heater. They have those heaters with the red, the ones that are dangerous. The ones that you see like the red and the fire and the Gehenna and everything. So those ones, what? In the sukkah. Wait a minute. I mean, the sukkah have an air conditioning. What did you just say? What? Not the ones that attach to the wall. They have these rollabout ones, What? Yeah, I guess. Now they have other ones. Kinderlach. They have other ones. Kinderlach. They have other ones which don't have a red hot coil in them, like I just described. They have inside of them like a liquid. It's either an oil, it's some type of a mechanical oil or something like that or whatever. But some of them not. Some of them it's heated from a current. Some of them heated from a current. There's two types. It's not two types. I used to have one that was heated from a current. They were mizgah in the box. It doesn't have the red coil. It's not dangerous and whatever, right? And then it shorted the whole entire apartment and my entire apartment building and whatever. Don't ask. It was more dangerous than anything else. But the actual one that I'm talking about now is one with a red hot coil. It's like a fire and this and that. So Shlomo Zalman says, so if you need, it's a kli. It's a yesh ben mamish. Make it into a kli shemach d'li'isr if you want, like we said, not klar. Okay. Those are Shlomo Zalman. Comes again in the Shmir Shabbos Kehilchasa in Parak Gimel Ha'ara Kuf Yud Daled. He says a heater with a fire. Muksamach Mizgufay. Muksamach Mizgufay. He says, and then he says in Shulchan Shleima in Shin Ches Yud Gimel. This is a eish mamish. Aser. There he says the word aser. A lamp aser. A heater aser. Aser. Now, it doesn't mean the one maybe with just the liquid inside of it, because that's not muchach. I might have a little LED light, but that might be bottled to the whole entire apparatus and whatever. Okay. So what do you do? Anybody know what to do over here? And then there's a Mora Shabbos, and I give a lot of credence because he wrote the letters to the Gedolim and they gave him a lot of covet and everything, So he writes over there that he asked the Shalosh of Shlomo Zalman, he said it's aser. So Shlomo Zalman said, okay, I don't mean aser, I mean eino kedai. It's not kedai. Like, what's going on over here? He says in one place in Mutter. He says one place in Mutter. In Shmir Shabbos he says aser. Over there he tells them in the letter he means eino kedai. It's very interesting. There's a Hakadama. I only realized this because of the Tzitz Eliezer. It's interesting. Tzitz Eliezer has a tshuva about this. Tzitz Eliezer is known of the great Makilim, the tremendous Kayach HaKula, Yushalmi Yid. And in Vav Dalid, he brings this for Shlomo Zalman. He's very upset with this for Shlomo Zalman that wanted to be made equal. Okay? And then he's ma'oyer to you already that Shlomo Zalman said, I'm only writing this lepalpel. I'm only writing these things to Mepalpel. He writes it in Ma'ireh Eish, in Minchas Shlomo, Ma'ireh Eish. He writes it in the 114th page, in the 666th page. He keeps on writing about this idea that maybe lamps should not be muksa, maybe kushmach l'yusr, but certainly not like a fire. He writes this a few times, and he writes a few times in those tshuvas, I'm only being Mepalpel and Ma'ireh. It's very interesting. He got me to really look into this because I saw the Tzitz Eliezer. I wanted to see what he holds in general. So I looked, it's a Peldik Maisa. There's a Ha'ara that I don't have in my Minchas Shlomo, but other Minchas Shloimos have it. And he points this out. But he doesn't point out the aura, but he points out Ayin Sham, it's missing things in the tshuva. So I looked in the other Mincha Shleima. In the Hakdama of the Mincha Shleima, he writes, you should know everything in this book, you could take Halach L'maisa, because I wrote it, right? He writes, there's only one tshuva you shouldn't take Halach L'maisa in the whole Mincha Shleima. Yeah? That's the 14th tshuva, our tshuva. Don't take this tshuva Halach L'maisa. I only wrote it in the Palpil and to say Maitzad. He's telling you first, don't be Seimach on Maitzad. Then in the Amorei Eish, he writes over there, you should know I discussed this with many Talmidei Chachamim. Nobody could disagree with me, and they all agree that a lamp is a Yesh by Mamish, there's something tangible. You could touch it, you could this, it's a bar tiltal. The most it could be is Malach al Yeser. You should know all these Gedolim before summon. Famous Gedolim, Rosh Zaman is calling them famous Gedolim. No, it's very important because they once asked Rav Shlomo Zalman, who's the nister of the door? It's an interesting kasha, like if the guy's nister of the door, who would know? Who's the nister of the door? So somebody told me, he came to Eretz Yisrael about 2 years ago. He told me he comes to Eretz Yisrael, he goes to this certain tzaddik, the mamish is big nister, nobody knows about. I said, how do you know? Okay, it's like all those stories. So, but nister ador. It's interesting. This nister that he goes to charges $1,000 every time he comes. Interesting. I told him I'm not in the nister ador, and I don't think even the $500 is good enough for me, But they get to this nister ador. So they asked Shlomo Zalman, wer doch the nister ador? Who's the nister ador? Shlomo Zalman thought for a second. Laser Shach. Laser Shach. Rav Shach. He's the nister ador. He's the most enforcing door. So that's not a tipa shabbayam. It's not even a dot. That's not a drop in the ocean of what Rav Shach is. It's like, you think you understand Rav Shach. It's the nister shabbaynister. It's this seser upon seser. So maybe when Rosh Zalman writes that this guy's gdoilim for summon, you can't even imagine who he's talking about over here, right? Who knows? Maybe if it's a Zalman, who knows? Who knows? So he talks about, he says, I talked to all the Gedolim for Summit, and they all agreed with me. But they told me, Zalman, it's a big Chiddush. That's what he writes. They told me it's a big Chiddush. So because they told me it's a big Chiddush, Chalila lahakel. That's what he writes. Yes? We would have thought it's Shaila Muksa, there are Banan, and every big Gedolim, all the Gedolim agreed. And it makes sense. Hashem Shemaychel me, but it makes sense, right? Chalila lahakel. So now, what? Peldik Amaisa. Rosh Zalman has a tshuva. They're talking about this. Rosh Zalman has a whole tshuva about putting a shvaferis inside a lady and canceling out all of nida. Canceling all of nida, basically. Taking a lady, putting a shvaferis, and boom, the blood won't come out derech the normal tube. It'll come out never having touched the basar. Oh my God, everybody know Rosh Zalman has like eights over there. Rosh Zalman never had kinder, but nicht got kinder. Verstehst? So there was all problems with nida and this and that. And Rosh Zalman came up with a tshuva over there, not time a tshuva, like a 70-page tshuva, where Rosh Zalman explains how we could be mekel and doesn't. Scheinberg, he has a bunch of svarim that people don't know about. One of his svarim, Scheinberg has a sefer on nida. And I think it's called Tyrus Chaim. Yeah, sefer, a bunch of svarim. He has a whole thing. He says Rosh Zalman writes a chiddush. He says, and the ganze Welt schweigt, everyone's quiet. Do you know what he's doing over here? If they would know what he was doing, then they would put up proper signs against him, not like they're doing, If they knew there was, Shlomo Zalman's being mekel, he's knocking out the Nida, and he goes to write an whole entire tshuva against it. Shlomo Zalman was afraid of making Kallus. If Shlomo Zalman was afraid of Chedushim, what's expensive? What's gehad, da sehr viel Pachad, da sehr viel Moira to gehad, no? Was? That's the right. I don't know the Chiddush, that's the Machlekes, but this, Shlomo Zalman said electricity is Rabbanon. Shlomo Zalman writes that I just read, he writes in the Tshuva, like Siman Yudah, I just read about what you wrote, the Chazon Ish, and the fee what you write, I've been over on Chiyuv Skila every single Shabbos for the last 100 Shabbosis, because my mother has a hearing aid, and every single Shabbos I go and I fix her hearing aid for her, and then this and that, and whatever. Says, so now I have no choice. I have to write a tshuva because he said I'm being over on skila, right? So he writes a tshuva, he explains it's the Rabbanan, and he has his chedushim grada. He was chayzer that you shouldn't play with it and monkey with it, basayif and whatever. But it wasn't the Rabbanan. It was right. So it was only the Rabbanan, whatever. But it's Shlomo Zalman wasn't afraid of anybody. Shlomo Zalman wasn't afraid of anybody, right? All the gedolim, whenever there was something that there was a shaila, they would go to Shlomo Zalman. Go to Shlomo Zalman. I remember one time I asked Rabbi Yashiv Shaila. Rabbi Yashiv was mchutin. His mamish ben doyer. I asked Rabbi Yashiv Shaila. Rabbi Yashiv said this. It's a shver Shaila. And so there was somebody in the room, a mechutzif. He was in the room. He said to Rabbi Yashiv, no, what would you have told him 20 years ago? I couldn't believe I was hearing it. Sometimes he's privy to privy information. He said, yeah, but yet there is in the mechitins in the olam ha'emes. I understood the conversation. You know what I mean? He wasn't talking about the stipler. He wasn't talking about the stipler. Right? The stipler has a letter. The stipler has a letter. And the letter, what was the letter about? The letter was about lawyers. The letter was about lawyers. The letter was that a lawyer to go to a Goyish court. The letter, the Orchos Rabbeinu prints the letter, and I don't remember where, but the letter, the Orchos Rabbeinu prints that somebody came to the stipler and asked him, a lawyer, about going to a Goyish court. He won't go, because of course it's also for a year to go to a Goyish court when there's two Jews and whatever. So he says, but I'm just helping in the courthouse, and I'm helping. It's my job. I'm a lawyer in the courthouse, in the firm, and whatever. But it comes up all the time. Do I have to quit and lose my parnasa? So the stipler writes, I was looked in every single oif and how I could find as a heter. I can't find the heter. Go to Shlomo Zalman Orbach. Go to Shlomo Zalman. He went to Shlomo Zalman. They printed there in the Orchos Rabbeinu. They printed it. It's also brought in the Halachos Shlomo over there, where it talks about who's possible for a minion. Use your imagination. Right? And Shlomo Zalman tried to find. Shlomo Zalman said, "Aser." Couldn't find the heter. Couldn't find the heter. But but everyone knew in Yerushalayim, in Bnei Brak, and everywhere there. Go to Shlomo Zalman. All of a sudden comes a lamp that every cheder yingel can figure out that a lamp is mistama at best a klishum lachta lis, or maybe a klishum lachta heter. And Shlomo Zalman says chalila lahakol. Okay, I don't know. At the end of his life, the Mor Shabbos, he writes the letter to him. He said aser. So I can't say it's aser, but it's not kedai. What happened? I guess 80 years of trying to ask Gedolim and Tzadikim, Tachlis, is it aser? And nobody finding an answer. Why it should be aser? He started to, it's no longer aser, but it's not kedai. So the Maisa, that's the answer. Tzitz Eliezer says that Rav Shlomo Zalman said himself not to be saimech on him. So how could you be saimech? He sees people being saimech on Shlomo Zalman. How could you be saimech? Okay, das is das. He says a lashon there. He says Rav Shlomo Zalman in the 666th page of the Mor Shabbos. You see, I had a lot of fun this afternoon. He writes, "May eish misrachkin, from fire you stay away. Right? Stay away from fire." That's it. Okay, so let's make this practical now. The fan, no, what should I tell you? The fan, the Chutshani says, is gufay. No, that's a big chiddush. Rav Shlomo Zalman in Shmir Shabbos in Yud Gimel in Ha'ara Kuf Lamed Daled, he says, Rabbi Spira, it's a klishum malachta leheter. He says a fan is a klishum, not that Rabbi Spira. Don't worry, you're okay. Go back. Right? He says it's a klishum malachta leheter. You hear this? Why not? He doesn't know why not. Why not? Because you have to turn it on to get it on. But when it came to lamp, he said, "Don't go. No, not kedai. But this, that in order to get it to work, you have to turn it on." That he says is a klishmak leheter. Okay, therefore, nobody should be any nervous about. That was very good English. That nobody should be nervous at all about anything we ever spoke about fans and what's called mekoimai. It's ruining the makim. Shlomo Zalman el fan is a klishmak leheter. Okay, Ramosha Gimel Memtas, I think that's the Makobel. He says a fan is the Klisha Malachta Isser, maybe Heter. In one Shuvi writes it's more Mistaber, it's Isser. In one Shuvi writes it's more Mistaber, it's Heter. Kitzer, you understand? Lefi this, what would happen if fan is about to get hit by a steamroller? There's the steamroller. That's it, the steamroller is coming. What do? I don't want to lose my fan. Yeah, so it's a mechamel itself. So maybe b'makim hefsid, you can consider it to be klishmak leheter, but you have to know the normal halachas to consider it a klishmak leheter. Okay, what's this? I don't understand. When it's off, they all say even Rosh Hashanah it's a malachta leheter. Okay, it's interesting because what? Wait, we'll get there. They say it's malachta leheter, not that they say it's gufa. They say when it's off, it's malachta leheter. It's interesting. I mean, if you held that it's just okay. It's interesting that an item can change. It's like a new thing. A hammer, even when it's not in use, is a malachta leheter. Is a malachta leheter, right? Things don't change so much. What do we have like this? Can anybody help me? What do we have like this? What? No, that's broken. Maybe we'll see. That might be broken. That's not fair. That's 5 yards. What? A pot. When what? Yeah, you have a pot. That's also not so fair. I'm going to give you 1 yard for that, but it's not so fair. No, it's not so fair because the food is mevatel the pot. It's not the pshat. It's a different chefta. You know what I mean? It's mevatel the pot. It's not so fair. What? That might be a shever kli. That might be shema yitzka. That might be broken. That might be gufa. Right? You guys, it's getting to the touchdown in a minute. What? Come again? Stama. It's such a simple stama. I hear the shot. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to fear that a fan on off is going to be a klishim matal. Yes, I think that's fair because it's not so clear. I saw in the Orchos Shabbos in the 19th parak, in the 5th ice over there, he says that a fan is category 2. It's category 2 of muksa. It's a klishim matal yesod that has no shivish of heter. Let's see. You deal with this. I don't know. I mean, why does it have no shemesh of heter any more than a ham? I just don't know. You can't hold the door open with it. You can't hang on at your shirt. You can't there's not 300 million things that people do actually do with fan. If that's not a klishim lachtal yisr, I don't know what is. But anyways, category 2, we're makelon, so I don't know. Okay. Now, I saw some svarim that say when the fan is off. This is related to Rabbi Shtendish a little bit. I saw some that want to say when the fan is off, they want to say it's gufay because it's a shever kli. I saw one sefer, very chashuv sefer. It says it's a shever kli. Why is it? What's a shever kli? You guys remember? It's a chazar. What's a shever kli? A shever kli, I remember the Mishnah Berurah saying because it's oimid lizraik. When you have a shever kli, why is it muksa? Because it's oimid lizraik. You turn off your fan and then you throw it out. Right? Wealthy people. Right? Fancy people fancy. Well, sorry. So that might be different. That's very important. Why is it different? We spoke out once. Now, let me get to you in one moment. There's another gzera here. Maybe you can make a shema yitka. I saw another sefer says maybe shema yitka. We know that something could be mutter muksa because it's the derech to go and turn it on. Now that I don't agree with. We never found something that's not broken. Listen closely, Kindle. Something that's not broken that we made a shema yitka. The gzera was if it's broken, you didn't come to fix it. Something that its function is to turn on. That's a hammer. That's every klishim malachta the isers. You might use it, right? We said over once a watch that's not wound. That's different. We learned up once that the reason why you're not allowed to wind a watch might be because it's broken. So if a watch is not wound, the reason why it's taking isser to wind it is because you're over makabit patich because you're taking something broken and fixing it. So maybe this is shema yitka. I could certainly hear that. But I'm shaking a fan which is off. Who says it's a shema yitka? I'm turning it on. That's like saying there's a shema yitka on a hammer because I might come to use it. It's ludicrous. It's been a nimda. It's been a nimda. I just answered you also. It certainly does. Sorry. No, again, it's a different muksa. It's a shema yitka. It's a different muksa. That's what I'm saying. It's not shever kli. I agree with you. Very good. It's not shever kli. When you have a watch which isn't wound, it's not shever kli. Like I saw in one safe, which I do not understand, because it's not oimid lizrek, like Rabbi Maman is saying. But it might be shema yitka. That could be. I heard that from Rav Yashin, that it could be a shema yitka. But a fan? Why would a fan be a shema yitka? Why would a fan be a shema yitka? So then Rabbi say you have to cover all your light switches also. Shema, you'll turn on shaykhis in the felt. It's not a shema yitka. Okay. Yeah. Somebody asked me yesterday, why was I bothered in the beginning of this man about the kosher lamp that has the shade? I mean, now you're seeing that the fee Rav Moshe Medina, it's mutter, right? Medina, it's mutter. Even I'll admit now. And fear Shlomo Zalman, I just like, to me, it's mind-boggling. I mean, you're making a kosher lamp on something that we don't fully understand in the first place. So just get all the shitas and do what Rav Moshe wanted to do in the first place, and do what Rav Shlomo Zalman wanted you to do in the first place, and do what Rav Yashiv holds his Meikra din. So that's why I don't understand the whole kosher lamp, which is, l'das all the gedolim, not kosher. So why did they have to fabesser, one up from the old kosher lamp? The old kosher lamp was good according to all the shitas. So I don't work for them, right? What? They should have just left it the way it was. But, I have a washing machine. She needs her refuah shlema, right? And so the washing machine, right? The person came today to fix it. Not my wife. The washing machine, right? Not Hasidish. What are you doing? Right? The washing machine is broken. She needs her refuah shlema, the washing machine, okay? And so the guy came today. And he says, I said, this is like the 10th time already, That's why it was very good. We get the insurance on this thing. It's like the 10th time already to think that he says to me, as long as you could fix it, fix it. As long as you fix it, because whatever, the old stuff, they make the old stuff better. I was like, it's the same thing, the kosher lamp. What? But he was the one that explained to me the LED lights. The same guy. That's his car for sale there. Now let me get weiter. What? Shut the lamp? What do you mean? Fine, good.
That's nothing to do with muktzah.
Of course it's not.
But if you don't have a question like how shall you know?
What do you mean? It's not it's not muktzah. That's why they did it, because you can't take it and move it out of the room. You can't take it under the bed. What do you mean? What would you do if you were Moshe Feinstein and no one was looking except for the guy who wrote the article, the Talmud Chacham wrote the article book, right? You would take the lamp, put it under the bed. It's a tzarech mekayim, because now it's ruining the light, right? Okay, so we have a few more cases here. The fluorescent, okay, that we spoke about. An urn, all these things we spoke about, but this is like, the final knack on all these things. An urn, once and for all. Rabbi said, I'm not feeling it. An urn. Let's see, after today's shiur, what do you think? So they made this urn that had some weird, I told you, we spoke about this, I think it was over here I spoke about it? The kettle, and they had some, and it clips on and whatever. Now let's see all the problems, right? So you have here the old urn, Rabbi said, the old urn has water, has a coil on the bottom, has water too, has a coil on the bottom and whatever. It's a red hot coil, that's what they say. And the same thing with a crock pot and a hot plate. So let's see what you heard. Let's go one by one. The hot plate. Are you allowed to move the hot plate? It's a very negeya, mamish negeya. A lot of times you see the wires there and you don't like the wire, it's getting too close to the hot plate. So you want to just move the whole entire hot plate. Right? So you know how to move a hot plate. Okay, if it's mamish chash or whatever, so you move it with a shinoi. The shalosh, you have to move it with a shinoi or whatever, right? You have to move it with a shinoi. So let's see what you heard today. Let's see Moshe, it's mutter, right? The balkan that you're even nervous about a fire in the stomach, make sure no one's looking, right? Make sure no one's, especially people writing English art school books, right? And then move it, right? And then move it, right? The fear of Shlomo Zalman, it's not kedai. In Zafal, it's kedai, I mean, in that case, we get nervous about the wire getting burnt and whatever. So then it's kedai, I thought that if you can do it with a shinoi, do it with a shinoi, If you can't do it with a shinoi and whatever, so move it over, right? According to the Rabbi Yashiv about it's also gomer. Rabbi Yashiv held it is a fire. They were goyzer on a fire. We don't know the reason why. This is a real fire. It's not lead and it's not fluorescent. It's a real fire, right? So according to Rabbi Yashiv, it's an issa gomer. And okay, so now you know how to dam the shiloh. Okay, that's on a hot plate. What? Yeah, I think so. That's a real emistic asil chlufe. It's a hot plate. It's mamish. In halacha, it's havara mamish. It's a real emistic asil chlufe. Okay, next the urn. Now we up the ante a little bit because now, okay, this already, like until now I could accept maybe it's a kli because the whole chefts of it's not a kli, excuse me, because the whole chefts is asil chlufe. Here, the urn is asil chlufe to a fire. It's like, it's already a whole different idea, maybe, I don't know what, right? There's a very big tzad to say that this item is oimed and meyucha to be holding water at the same time, and maybe we have that milo of a chalun pot, right? That we spoke about before. It's oimed to be holding the water and the fire and the coil. And in the first place, we're not so sure why a coil is also. This is not like a hot plate where the chefza is the hot plate and the things on top of it are separate individuals. Here, you're talking about that the way the shtamshus of the urn is together with water, which maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody will say it's mamish like a pot, right? Maybe it's like a pot. Elamai. But, meaning it might even be a kishmak laheter. But this is all in your ashkafa. If you believe that, if your attitude is that an urn is a red hot coil and that's fire, like Rabbi Yashiv, it's called tuv. Nothing starts. You can't take a muktzah machmas gufa and turn it into a heter. Again, is there a makim? I had this a few weeks ago with my urn because it was in a way where I couldn't get to it. It was in a way, it was blocked and whatever. I couldn't get to it. So I had to move it, to get onto the countertop and with the elbows and this and that. Whatever. So you have to know that there might be a makom to be makel. According to Shlomo Zalman, according to Moshe, according to this tzad, there might be a tzad to be makel. Let's see what you heard today. Electric blanket. Where Moshe has a tshuva about an electric blanket in Gimel Nun. He calls it a malach leheter. He calls it a malach leheter. There's one of those chuvas that we mentioned that even though to turn it on, it doesn't get red hot with a coil. Otherwise, if you're gonna be ironed, right? So it doesn't get red hot. But Al Kapanim says it's a kli shel malach leheter. And okay, there's one last case I saw today. I have in my house a battery. Some of you guys also may have. I have a battery operated light that is used for emergencies. So what it is, it's plugged in the whole time, right? It's funny. There's a mamash nace. As I was walking out, there was a short, and the whole everything went right. And then all of a sudden, I saw that light go on. So it reminded me of this case, right? So it's plugged in always, and when it's plugged in, the light. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. The light doesn't go on. When the second electricity goes off, so then the light goes on. So now, what? It's a battery, but it's got lead, it's a lead lights and whatever. So I think this is mamish a great thing, It happens on Shabbos. I mean, we hope it doesn't happen, right? But if it happens on Shabbos, so now you got to pull a plug out of the wall. Okay, so alta maisa, plugs in walls are hold, the chazanish held that might be a shalabayin or whatever. What? Why Sephardi? No, that's how you wrap the tefillin. What's he saying? No, that's a sirchas. Pulling off sirchas? What's a Sephardim? What are you bringing Sephardim for? What does Sephardim do? Isn't it the Chazanish? The Chazanish tell that it's mamish poina and whatever. Ashkenazim, the others hold it's not so. We're going to learn poina over here, Bez Hashem, and we'll see it's not so pashut the whole parsha if it's poina because it's not really attached to the wall. It's fake news. It's not really attached to the wall, right? Okay, ganze Meiser. So I think it's unbelievable based on what we said today. Eli Yehudim, right? If Chalila, the light goes out on Shabbos, Chas v'Shalom. Okay, so now usually you plug this thing in a very, mitzumtzum place, right? And you want to go and take it to the back room and whatever, and then, dun, 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 the toilet, right? So what are you going to do? It's not plugged in the toilet, so now you have to take it out, and you want to go into the bathroom with it. No, you want to go to the bathroom. So if you're here today, no. According to Moshe, it's a kli, no, right? And if it's a kli, so then the most it'll be is a kli shemach the yeser, right? So you're taking it out of the wall, but it's no electricity now, so you don't have a problem with that. Elamai, you want to know, taking it out of the wall is a problem of sicer. So knock it out with your foot, because there's many that are makel anyways, that it's not really considered one with the karka. So it's a gevaldik after what you heard today. It'll be gevaldik. What? What's a noilid? Why is it noilid? So what? Noilid's in a chefza. No problem. It's a gevaldik, no? Well, okay, if yashin, but it's a shatzat chak noira. Toilet, right? Shatzat chak noilad. Noira. No, nobody, everyone's going to allow? Yeah, that's what everyone says it's okay? What? What's mi'achid makim? No, that's a chazanish. It's a kapeda. There's no kapeda. Come on. What? What's the changing side switch? I'm not changing anything over here. It's light. It lights all of a sudden and the electricity's off. What? What's a makapatish? It's lit. It's not doing anything. No, that's not a bad. It's like saying that it's like taking a hanger off of something. It's a different thing. It's done after, but now the electricity's off.
I know, but maybe the charge you're using the last moment to charge happens.
So what? What?
It's not cooking. What about if the light switch is on?
Wait, Rabbi said it might be mutter. Maybe it's mutter. No. Well, why do you think it's not mutter? Because I have the smile. Why? Maybe it's talking mutter, right? I saw one safer. He says it's mutter, based on everything that you heard today.
What if the light switch is on? Shell's got to turn it off, and you don't want it to go on the next day?
That's a whole different shayla. That's not like doing moksa. That's a shayla in general in Shabbos classes. I would say Moshe held no. Shalom Zalman had cases where he did make them, not all cases, but that's a different shayla. It's not like doing moksa. No. This is a terrible grace. Grace. This is a grace. That's a terrible. This is a tragic psak. Tragic. No. Whoever gets it, I'll give him the keys. Oh, who just said that? What? Can I borrow the car? I have to get the yeshiva. What? You want to drive me or no? And what happened to Migudis Katsai? Is that what you were saying? Migudis Katsai. During Ben Hashmashis, could I have pulled it out of the wall? Shegets, guy. You can pull it out of the wall. Tziyoni. Right? You can pull it out of the wall. Ben Hashmashis, the entire Ben Hashmashis, there was a plug going over there. You pull it out of the wall, you're going to turn on the fire. Migudis Katsai Ben Hashmashis, it's Katsai Kula Yoima. No? Okay. What? What? So what? I can't pull it out. Oh, yeah, it's a part of the whole. What's a minute? It was the whole I made to go. Tony, I don't know where you live. I don't know where, no, it could be it's Gomer B'day Adam, it's like it's meant to be going off, hopefully, the purpose of that electric light is that you shouldn't need it, right? What? What happened to my internet? I lost my internet. What? Oh, it's raining, so don't get nervous, right? It's not snowing yet, don't worry. The light hasn't gone off yet, right? What happened? No, we didn't. No, this is great. This is actually, that even you'll all admit this is crazy, right? What? Hot water pillow? What about her? I have one of those. So what's the child? She's Mother Gomer. No, it's not fire, it's just electric current. No, it's just electric current. No. It's okay. The internet's okay. They're okay. Shkoyach. Thank you. If you would pull it out, better shmoshes. What? But you have to move it. So this is an interesting shayla. This is an interesting shayla. You say that I could technically move around the thing. Right? Technically, right? But no, without unplugging it. It's a plug, right? So I could move it. But it reminds us of the grass spars and all those spars. Here, those grass spars could work against us. That might not be called tiltal. So for Zayvite, it's not called tiltal. But it sounded like that. It wasn't borrowed. That's not true. No, I don't know. No. Maybe this guy's saying no. If I say the urn. Oh, so the urn with the clip on the bottom. So I'll tell you what I'm bothered by. Be'etzim with Moshe Shalom Dam, and maybe. But to go and say it's a lichatchila when you see that the gans minig oilam is to try to not get into these shilas. So if somebody asks me, should he buy the urn that has this fire, this heating element or whatever, I don't think it's lichatchila to buy it. Because you're getting involved in all these business and everything we spoke about. If somebody is at a house, he's at his parents or whatever, and dad says, go make me a tea, and he has only that urn. Okay, so it's a klish malachtal yisr. You'll be saying on the tzad that it's with the fire, nachalts maybe is a kli and mitavaser and everything, whatever. That's a chayr. I don't know if it's a chatchila to be saying on the tzad. Yeah. It's interesting. They showed me the baby wipes. They have the kosher shops. There was more water in there than in the regular baby wipes. Right? So mamish it seems to be that. No, it seems to be once you master these things, you can just just throw in an aguna too. Just put in there more water because once you say it's for Shabbos, then you knew that would do that. What do you do? I'm not feeling well today. I told you I'm not feeling well. What? Oh no. All right, we're starting. Let's start this year. What? Bishul? Why is it Chazara? No, that's called Adas to go back. They once asked the Chazanish, somebody once asked the Chazanish that you can't say Ovdin Dechol. You say Ovdin Dechol on that, then the whole mux is out the window because everything's Ovdin Dechol. They once asked the Chazanish, somebody asked the Chazanish that if I take, my spoon and I put it in my cholent pot, and I take out, you took it off, you take out some chocolate. So inevitably, maybe there's one bean, right? Or like an anicle of a potato, right? That's going to wind up getting back inside the pot, right? Because you know how it is. You have a spoonful like this, you take a ladle, right? Right? And then you put it back. So that bean, that little bean nick might wind up back inside the cholent, right? Right? So it's a mamash big shayla, it's a problem of chazara because you didn't have that should go back, right? So Chazish told him, he said, Halavai, they would ask me shaylas with azayfil diktuk with lashon hara like that. Halavai, so the nutnik, he said, and was it the teretz? That is that that's called that it's das. When these things happen, there's an umdana, theyese things happen, that's called al das. What? But it's all connected. It's not a blech or not a blech, it's connected. You didn't take it off the blech. Out of the fire. It's in the same realm of the fire. It's inside the kli. It's all one big kli. I got to think it's a wrong thing for a person to buy it lechatchila when you see that the minig Yisrael is to try to be machmir on these things of lamps and all these achin and whatever. Right? Okay, I don't know what happened today. Okay, there's a new sugi here of mita sheish by mayas, and then we have to start mochni and pockets and everything. What's going to be? What? Right. Saying if you don't hold these svaras, how you allowed to pick up the lever? The spigot. You have a regular urn. So what's it called? The spigot. No, spigot. Right? How you allowed to pick it up? Right? Pick it up. The tap is tilted the mixes. So you're gonna go with that mahalach like we spoke once. It's tilted the mixes. which we said is mutter l'tzoyrech davar mutter, like tiltum min hatzad. Sorry? Even though we weren't so happy about that being mixes because it could stay and whatever, right? That's why that's why I bought the pumpy one, because that goes back. And also the pump one breaks after a few times anyway, so you don't earn after a while. What? I understand. That's what I said. That's why it's not so pashut. As I said, because it could stay. So you don't have it's not so pashut klape how we learned then. Yeah, it's not so pashut. How we learned back then is talking not so pashut, right? What's the Welt? What does the Welt say? I mean, I'm saying the Torah says still to Minatzad. What did the Welt say? I mean, the ganze Welt uses this thing, right? Sorry? Who knows the end of the answer? Well, you split the kli in half. That's like feels a kalim. We split it in half. What are you doing to me? Half a kli is muktzah and half the kli is not muktzah. What do you think is going to happen if you say things like that? What? It might be a muktzah gufa. It might be a fire. That's the whole problem of it. What? Sorry? Elamai, this would be a riot to that side that it's a klish makal yeser anyways, right? Maybe. I'm saying if I say vite, maybe it's tiltum inside, maybe it's klish makal yeser, maybe the whole thing is mutter because the water is in there, maybe. And Klal Yisrael do it, so it's mutter. Sorry? No, that was anti-Semitic, right? Here, that's an anti-Semite. Because here you don't have the whole star of tiltum inside. You're picking up the actual fire, right? You're picking up the fire. The whole kli is one big chaft of a kli. It's picking up the don't. All right, listen. Rabbi say, as far as tomorrow is concerned, so if usually in all the years when it snows and we don't know and this and that and right, it's like I spend the whole 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. First I call Jaime for right every year. Jaime calls these people. He calls these people. So look, if the way is like this, if it's going to be snowing at that point and it seems like it'll be sticking, so then we'll do it on Zoom instead of having the whole Agnes Nefesh of trying to figure out if there is Shiur or not Shiur. If there is no snow by that point, depends. The Cheder kids are having already a Yom Tefillah to what? Oh yeah, what if it sticks in Ramat? What if like it did in the Ramat Shlomo or? Okay, so it's going to be very complicated. I would just everybody between the hours of 2 and 3 tomorrow should just be on top of it. I'll call Shloimi and I'll send out an email and I'll call Chaim and I'll call Toli. What? It's only meant to snow night. You don't understand the koyach of tefillah. You don't understand the koyach of tefillah. What? I don't. Rabbi say snow is a zoivi a shviger. She comes unexpected. She stays for a very long time, and the only people that want her are the children. So what do you want from me? Huh? Now I'm going to get in trouble. What do you do that for? Right? You guys are unbelievable. All right, they're the whole TV crew over here is like with the thumbs and everything. All right, I don't know their figures. No, so I guess to stay tuned. Do Steve Zayn. Steve Zayn is hard. Muchani and whatever. Let's try to get to the good stuff. Well, this is, the final, what it is, no? To learn muksa the whole zman. Understand out there that there are people, they think a guy in here, he wouldn't understand the pleasure and the honor that we have from learning muksa. I wouldn't even know. 79 shir muksa, well, tell me we're not even close to finished. We're not even close. Don't get nervous. By the next month, we're going to no matter what. You wouldn't even understand the amount of honor. What? No, there's no games. We go find it. All right, go learn. I don't know, Fishy, could you show me that bulb? I don't remember it. I forgot about the bulb. Wait, guys, if you want to see on TV, or Fishy's going to show us, he has a bulb that, a different type of Shabbos light. What, the Shabbat? Shabbat are those guys that cause all the trouble. Fishy, you have it? He's saying one, no, that's not that finger, guys, don't worry. He's saying 1 minute.
Maybe tilt the urn to get the extra water out.
Wait, let's see. I want to. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Tilt the urn to get the extra water out. You know when there's like this much water left?
Yeah.
You need to tilt it to get the water out.
The fee, what we said today. If it's still.
Yeah, it's a shavuot.
So what does it do, official?
Watch, yeah, it's a shade that goes over it. If you turn that, it's like a shade that goes over the bulb. Not a switch. Not a switch. It's like a shade that covers it. It's a shade.
What does it do, Fish?
You slide it back and forth.
Bye, Danny.
You turn that and it becomes dark.
You turn down and it becomes dark. But you're actually holding it or it's attached?
It's attached to it's a bulb. It's a regular bulb.
But it's attached to the wall.
Yeah, you slide into whatever you want, and then you just.
But it's attached to the wall or it's
into
all down?
a socket.
A regular bulb. It's a regular bulb.
So it's on a lamp right now. If it was in the wall, for sure, no problem, because it's attached to the wall, right? If it's no, I'm saying if it's attached to the wall, for sure, no problem, right? But if it's in a lamp, so now it becomes because then it's attached to the wall. So then it becomes a chelik of the karka. So we misachos do it like that. But Mashen Kain, if it was on a separate lamp, it would be the same problem because it's all connected.
The other kosher lamp.
Because there it's a separate piece. There it's a separate piece. No, but here it's attached. It's one cheftza. There's no picking up one without the other. Oh, you're saying it is a problem. Meaning, whatever. Yeah, it'll be like the slide one. But if it's attached to the wall, then we have a better heter because now we say it's the actual light is mechabel karka, and therefore mechabel karka will be mekel. Right?
Somebody just explained how LED works.
We might if it's attached to the karka, so then maybe I could say it's tiltal. It's only a tiltal but mixes. Maybe also this is
LEDs flash very quickly.
If it's a tilted the mix, it's starting to koimai. Maybe. Hi, fish.